So MLB is proposing different rule changes and ways to make the season work this year with the whole pandemic that's going on in the world. And I thought, you know what? I saw one that really stuck out to me, and it was the universal DH rule. And I thought, what if we recreated that in MLB The Show, maybe simmed a season or two, and see how that would really play out for the MLB. So today we're doing what if the universal DH rule was in play. And if you do enjoy the video, you want to see some more of these like what ifs or these different types of experiments, make sure you hit that like button down below, subscribe to the channel if you're new and enjoy the content, and of course guys, get in the comment section, do you think we should have a universal DH rule? Like, I'm not saying just because of what's going on in the world right now, but do you think MLB should adopt that as a rule change for the future going forward with baseball as a sport? Should we have the universal DH rule? Let me know in the comment section down below. And of course, if you missed yesterday's video, I'm going to put a link to it up here in the top corner. Go and give it a watch. And all social media links are down in the description below. Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. Go and give them a follow. So here we go. This is what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna pick the Cubs just because like it's the team that's up there. It doesn't really matter for me. I'm not going about this like it's a rebuild or anything like that. I just want to see what's gonna happen if we have designated hitter set to on. I guess it would help if you guys could kind of see that. Boom, there you go. You can see that it is on. And how I want to do this is I'm literally just gonna let the CPU handle everything and see what happens. I want to see who's going to be the DH for certain teams. Do they make any crazy trades to try to acquire better DH hitters or anything like that? So we got Chris Bryant being the DH for the Cubs, Jesse Winker for the Reds, you know, Ryan Braun, Kevin Newman, okay, Tommy Edman, Starling Marte. There's Ryan McMahon for the Rockies. For the Dodgers, it's going to be AJ Pollock. We have Brian Dozier, Yolmer Sanchez, Anthony Santander, JD Martinez. I mean, it makes sense a lot more for the AL teams. They're going to have those hitters. But I feel like for the NL teams, there's definitely going to be maybe some trades to make sure that they get those better hitters in their lineup. For me, I feel like this is the one rule I would be okay with the MLB adopting for good, because yes, there are times where pitchers do pop off and they get a home run. But for a majority of the time, wouldn't you rather see, you know, like a Kyle Schwarber up there with the war hack, or you see, you know, players who can actually hit up there instead of the pitcher? So for me, if there was one rule change that the MLB would adopt, this would be the one that I would be okay with, because I just feel like it'd bring more excitement to the game. There'd actually be a player that you could have, you know, you'd be like, ooh, this guy could actually change the game, rather than, you know, some random pitcher hopping up to the plate and things like that. So I get it. You know, it's kind of like that old school feel. I think I stopped one team too early. Oh no, I got them all. I know it's that kind of old school feel where it's like, I want the traditional sport, but I think this one change would make the sport a little bit better. So you guys saw the DHs. I'm gonna leave everything as is, and like I said, I feel like this would be the one rule I'd be okay with. So again, guys, in the comment section, let me know what you think about the universal DH rule, and if you guys have any other, you know, words that you want to say about what the MLB is proposing, like a shortened season. I think they're aiming for 80 games. On top of that, I think they're looking at boosting the roster to up to 30 spots. There's a bunch of different changes. So if you guys want to say something in the comment section down below, go ahead and do it. So here we go. Let's sim out the season. Let's see what happens. Are we going to get some crazy numbers for home runs and things like that from NL hitters or RBIs and things like that? I'll see you guys at the end of it. All right, so the season's over, and I'm kind of interested to see how this all plays out, because I'm not really worried about, you know, how the Cubs did, because that was the team that I selected. But I'm more worried about just kind of seeing how, you know, league leaders and everything like that. So let's take a look. Let's see what we have here for league leaders. So actually, let's take a look at standings, see who made the postseason. The Reds, the Dodgers, you have the Yankees, or the Rockies and the Phillies, which, okay, the Rockies made it. You have the Yankees, the Red Sox, Twins, Astros, Athletics, and then there you go. There's the teams there. I guess the Rockies would kind of make sense because they'd have a little extra oomph in that offensive lineup, because they're able to use those hitters that they have, you know, Charlie Blackmon and all that good stuff. So players that you normally wouldn't want in the field, but they still have a decent bat. So here we go. Let's take a look. Let's see. We got Jesse Winker at the top. We have Bregman at the top there. We had Mark Canha up there as well. Andujar, Kevin Newman for hits. For doubles, you've got Andujar and Tommy Edman. Triples, okay. Home runs, pretty similar numbers to what I'm normally expecting, but I wonder if there's just like more team home runs or anything like that, because there's obviously an extra hitter in the league. So let's see if there's like more NL teams that are starting to pop up in the rankings because of the fact that they have an extra bat compared to like the AL teams. That's kind of what I'm interested in. Are there more AL teams that are starting to come up those rankings because they have that extra bat like the AL teams do? So it's starting to look like there are some teams that are starting to creep up there. The Pirates look like they kind of popped off. The Reds, the Brewers, okay. The Braves are up there. The Marlins are up there with doubles. The Rockies, it looks like offensively the Rockies really kind of popped off. Home runs, there's the Dodgers. The Reds were second, which is kind of crazy. The Mets, the Rockies. So it's looking like there are some teams that definitely did kind of sneak in there that I wouldn't normally expect to be there. So, okay, that's kind of what I expected. Arenado, MVP. Garrett Cole, so obviously he won the Cy Young. And looking around the league, okay, some interesting names for sure. Do you think, I wonder if ERA went up for like the NL as well? That's something that I'm wondering. Let's take a look. Nah, it looks about the same. There's usually some sub threes. So let's just kind of see how the DHs perform for each team, because obviously that was what happened. So it looks like this lineup changed a bit. So Castellanos got moved to the DH. Keston was the DH for the Brewers. Newman obviously was one of those players that had, I think, one of the most hits in the league. Tommy Edman, okay. Starling Marte. Kind of strange that Starling Marte would have been for the Diamondbacks. And then we obviously knew Ryan McMahon for the Rockies. Chris Taylor, okay. So it looks like some of the lineups have definitely changed throughout the season. Mauricio Dubon here. DJ Stewart, we got JD Martinez who popped off. He was like MVP type stuff right there. Miguel Andujar, 44 home runs. Ew. Soler's on the Rays now. Okay. Nate Lau. Okay. So definitely there's been some changes to some of these teams. But okay, it's pretty interesting to see how that played out. I was wondering if there were going to be some more runs or if there were going to be some more records being broken, but it didn't really seem like it. It just seemed like there were more NL teams that kind of crept up the leaderboards for team rankings with RBIs, home runs, things like that, because they actually could compete because they had similar lineups since they didn't have to worry about a pitcher being there. We all know Jordan's a broken player in franchise. So, okay, that's kind of something that I was wondering. Would NL teams kind of compete offensively with AL teams? And it definitely showed. I didn't look at the Phillies. I kind of skipped them. They had Chris Davis. I mean, that would be another thing. You could add an extra bat to the lineup. You wouldn't have to worry about him being a problem. Like Chris Davis could play for an NL team now because there's that universal DH. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to simulate to the end of the season, see who walks away with the victory. The Astros defeat the Reds. And we'll take a look at the awards, see what happens. Josh Reddick didn't even hit a home run, and he's getting the award. You have Nicholas Castellanos, who hit 5, and then Bregman, who hit 6. So there we go. The Astros, the boom boom type situation, they walk away with the World Series. But it was interesting just to kind of see how things like that would play out. Would the NL be able to compete with the AL for rankings and things like that? And it definitely looked like they did. There were no like broken records or anything, no home run records, but when you see all that good stuff, home runs and stuff, they definitely did compete. So it's kind of interesting. It's kind of cool to see that. If you guys would like to see a universal DH rebuild where I could do an NL team and do kind of a rebuild where I could actually have that extra bat in the lineup, let's hit that like button down below, and maybe I'll do that for tomorrow's video. This was more of just kind of like a test to see what would happen if there was an extra bat in an NL lineup, which it kind of shows that the NL could compete. But I feel like the AL teams are more built for that right now, because it would, a lot of the NL teams are worried more about having that better fielding. They can't have that extra bat that's just sitting on the bench, kind of like the AL teams where they're already kind of built in with that DH type situation. So I hope you did enjoy it. Thumbs up down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and enjoyed the content. And of course, guys, let me know in the comment section what your opinion is on the universal DH rule. Other than that, guys, I'll catch you all in the next video. I'm going to leave you with 2 videos on screen now. Go and give them a watch if you haven't yet. And of course, all social media links are down in the description below. Peace.